I think there's forces out there that are expressly designed to take the creative act away from us, especially with AI as it's coming out at the moment.
To purely industrialize it.
Well, to create music as simply a product and to take away the actual creative... The creative experience is seen as a sort of impediment on the road to the product itself. That worries me a lot.
They've built their models out of stolen content and data. Didn't ask permission. They aren't offering compensation, or they are kind of offering compensation here and there, but mostly they're claiming, no, this is fair use. We don't have to offer compensation, which sort of turns them into hypocrites. The fact that they've paid a few companies. And their claim is that, okay, whenever these tools are used, 100% of the economic upside should go to the tech companies, and 0% of the economic upside should go to all the people whose writing and voices and art and creativity and labor and time and skill and perspective went into making these products valuable. These products would have zero value, would be able to do zero things without all of that human input.
AI is the future. AI is inevitable. AI is not going anywhere, and only those artists that embrace it will be successful. You might as well use it because everyone else is. If you use a computer or a phone, you're already using AI. Ha ha ha, LOL. Adapt or get left behind. You ever had one of those kids in your school that no one liked, but they thought they were the shit for some reason? You know, the kind that struggled with PE, but talked shit about the jocks or called everyone in the math club a bunch of loser nerds while they were failing math themselves? Yeah, the smart ones were the losers, right. The kind of kid that wasn't physically fit, wasn't smart, had no real talent, a shit personality, yet somehow found a way to weasel himself into the bottom of the barrel of the social totem, enough to convince themselves that people gave a shit about his or her opinion. That's pretty much the psychology behind the average generative AI user, or as I call it, Eric Cartman syndrome. They can't draw, they can't play an instrument, they can't write, yet they think they deserve the same recognition as people who can do those things without needing to use AI to, quote-unquote, fill in the gaps. Strap in, cause I'm going to address some of the dumbest shit I hear AI users say. So first off, I'm making this video for a couple reasons. Like everything I do, is to show my art process from beginning to end. Secondly, is to show that artists can still create original work despite what AI users tell themselves and others to cope with their lack of skill or imagination. Now, I've done plenty of fan art, mostly as either commissions or for my game and movie reviews. Yeah, that's not original work. I'll never claim it is. That's always the first thing they go for when trying to discredit an artist. However, I've done plenty of original work for my own projects, including the books I've written, and for my own band and other bands, or just because I had a crazy as fuck idea that didn't fit with anything else. Like this drawing. I actually had this idea in my head for a while, so I figured I'd use it as an example to combat the claim that all artists copy and nothing is original. And honestly, that's more of an excuse for their own lack of originality and imagination. Now, is the idea of a pregnant woman original? No. I can just hear the AI slop jockeys right now saying, "You're still copying something." No. Nothing humans create will ever be 100% something that doesn't exist, since art is a reflection of the artist's lived experience. Hold on to that thought, by the way. Lived experience. I'll come back to that. The originality lies in the artist's interpretation of and bending of what exists in nature. Pregnant women exist. That's not original. Pregnant cosmic horror alien demons with tentacled crowns, inverted bleeding nipples, split at the breast, and translucent bellies where you can see their fetal larvae don't exist, and that's my interpretation of what's in my head and where originality lies. Trust me, I could have gone more fucked up, but YouTube has pretty strict puritanical guidelines against how far it could have taken this. I am doing a version of her actually giving birth, though. Yeah, I can't exactly show that one here, and trust me, it's nothing like a traditional birth. I'll just say it's closer to a flower budding open, but with flayed skin, strings of meat, torn membranes, and leech-like suction holes with teeth. There's your fucking originality. Now, to be clear, I'm specifically tackling generative AI. Now, I have to be specific when I say generative AI, since this relates to the idiotic statement that pro-AI users make when they say, if you use a computer or phone, it automatically means you're using AI. Well, yeah, AI has been around for decades, but they think using a spell checker or a calculator is the same as prompting an image using assets scraped from online datasets without the original artist's permission. There's a fucking difference between generative AI like ChatGPT and Grok, which takes zero skill to use as anyone can generate anything without being a master at prompting, and assistive AI like a spell checker that tells you that a word like cocksucker can be used as a compound word instead of two separate words. Assistive AI is different than generative AI. Let's say that again. Assistive AI is different than generative AI. So no, I'm not against new technology. I'm fully on board with AI algorithms helping with detecting early signs of cancer or finding long-term treatments for things like heart blocks or diabetes. But generative AI isn't doing that. I'm going to tackle this one statement at a time, starting with one AI users have resorted to using as sort of a gotcha, only it's not. It's, if you use a phone or computer, you're already using AI. Jesus Christ. Simply using a phone or computer doesn't mean you're automatically using generative AI. I honestly think they're trolling when they say stupid shit like that. See, there's a difference between something made on a computer versus something made by a computer. Let me say that again. There's a difference between something made on a computer versus something made by a computer. Did that register? Using a phone or computer doesn't automatically mean you're using generative AI. Yes, Google and Facebook have built-in AI assistants. They didn't always though, and you can still turn it off. Opening Facebook, responding to a comment, or looking up directions on your GPS doesn't mean you're using generative AI. Generative. Obviously, AI has been around for decades, but not in the way that it has in recent years. The argument here is against generative AI, which hasn't been around for decades. See, here's the thing. Everything made in Grok, ChatGPT, Suno, and Midjourney is made using material that already existed. When the AI boom started, artists were getting their work trained by these AI datasets without our permission. It wasn't until years later that we were given the option to opt out. My question is, why the fuck was I opted in the first place? Let's look at DeviantArt. Once a site that celebrated real art and artists, which leaned heavily recently into AI slop almost exclusively. There's almost no real art left on there. When I joined, I never signed anything that said I'd give them permission to distribute my work for others to train their systems on. After enough backlash from the art community, they finally let real artists opt out of AI training. So saying AI doesn't steal is bullshit. By then the damage was already done. So if AI doesn't steal from artists, why are all these sites now giving us options to opt out of their training data? And don't think I don't know that AI isn't the only thing that steals from artists. Other artists have stolen from other artists too, and they also get called out. Take, for example, comic artist Greg Land, who was notorious for tracing and repurposing his own work and that of other artists. So yes, we also have an issue when artists do it too. Art theft is nothing new. AI though, generative AI specifically, just does it on a much bigger scale. But AI doesn't steal, you idiot. You don't even know how it works. It learns just like a person. Oh, I love that one. It learns just like a person, so it's no different, huh? So it has its own nuance and intention when making an image. See, most artists have a style that develops not from their skill or talent, but from their weakness. Yeah, like I, for example, suck at backgrounds. I'll admit it. I have sort of a flat style since it's just how my brain sees things. I don't do crazy angles or exaggerated proportions, but I do have an anatomy degree, so I have a mix between realistic and cartoonish. And if I do something with a background, doing that background takes fucking forever for me. But I put in the time, work, and effort to make sure it at least looks halfway decent. That's why I practice exaggerated styles and why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All of that is based on my own lived experience on what I enjoyed drawing as a kid, how my hand interprets what my brain sees, and so on. AI doesn't have or do any of that. It can only do what you program it to. It's not alive. It doesn't know how to learn from failure and make real-time adjustments. It only does, make me a hand with 5 fingers. Make the fingers longer, no shorter. Too many fingers. Take away a finger. Add a finger. Prompting is not drawing, and it's certainly not a way for a human to learn how to improve their skills. But it's not about improving your skills, is it? It's about making a machine do it for you so you can take credit because it's your idea. Here's the next thing they say. That it doesn't matter who makes the art, it's still their idea. Newsflash, there are over 8 billion people on this fucking planet. We all have ideas. Ideas are not special. Just like how they say, artists don't create anything original anyway, everyone copies from something, they follow up with their coveted idea statement as if it somehow makes them special. When you draw something from your own imagination, you at least have a chance to create something original. It may not always be, but there's still a chance there. With AI, you're guaranteed that anything you prompt will have random parts taken from already existing work, meaning it can never be original. I'll go back to the drawing I'm doing. Let me go into my thought process. You know, the idea phase they care so much about. Like I said earlier, I had this idea for a while. Where did it come from? Well, I get random ideas like this a lot since my brain runs 24/7 on sex, violence, horror, and torture. I never said I was a stable person. And why is that? I had an extremely fucked up childhood. I mean fucked up. My idea of fun was thinking about dissecting school bullies with random household objects, like how long would it take to cut out someone's sternum with a butter knife? So no, I didn't need to look at or get inspired by anything. I have always been like this. Weird, bloody, naked creatures live rent-free in my head. I've been doing lots of pinups and fan art as a break from the macabre, but lately, I've wanted to get back into horror. So I thought, well, I still want to do something pin-up-ish, so it's gonna be a female subject. My next train of thought was, I want to do something I haven't done yet. And the first thing that came to mind was, why not a pregnant demon-type creature? I've always had an idea to do a pregnant alien-type demon with transparent belly so you can see the fetus. Yes, I'm a sick fuck like I said. I didn't want it to look too creepy, but I also didn't want it to look too inhuman, so I tried to balance out horrific with familiar. Every design choice, the lighting, the skin texture, the pose, the angle, I decided with deliberate intent. The keyword here being intent. Something a machine doesn't have. I didn't let a machine algorithm fill in the blanks I couldn't think of. I want my brain to learn how to come up with and navigate new ideas, not a fucking machine. At first I had no idea what kind of background I wanted, so there was none. Like I said, I kind of suck at backgrounds. As the drawing came together, though, my ideas, the idea started coming through. I can safely say what I'm doing is completely my own. Again, is drawing a pregnant woman original? No. All art is based on some semblance of our lived experience. Even abstract artists like H.R. Giger, which designed the alien, took inspiration from real life. All of his art has phallic symbolism. Inspiration is not copying. That's something that needs to be cleared up, because I know when AI users attack artists, they pull at any string they can with their all art copies bullshit. It's another deflection they use for the simple fact that they refuse to learn how to fucking draw. Like learning an actual skill is somehow a bad thing because a cheat system now exists. Ha ha ha, I can prompt, I don't need to hire an artist. Cool. What's going to happen when AI spills over and we don't need any humans in general for anything? You're going to celebrate your own obsolescence as well? Now, is my fan art for my review videos original? Like I said, no. My take on it is, but the characters aren't. And have I ever copied anything? Sure I have. Like this drawing of Art the Clown I did for my Terrifier trilogy review. I drew it while looking at a screenshot. By the way, the technical term for drawing something from another source is called rendering. Like if you take life drawing, that's called rendering. If you're going to pretend to be an artist, at least learn the terminology, and rendering is actually a great practice for when you do decide to create your own stuff. It's why sometimes artists' rendered drawings will be different from their other work. These drawings, though, came completely from my head. No reference, just my own fucked up imagination. Yes, I can draw from scratch. Oh my god. So the argument that all artists copied is bullshit. I grew up drawing comic book covers as practice and art by people like Luis Royo, Boris Vallejo, and Frank Frazetta until I developed my own style. I'm not straight up copying any of them, but I was inspired by them. And that's honestly how most human artists develop their skills. Now, does that mean no one copies other people? Of course not. Nothing is black and white on any subject. Hell, even the AI issue isn't black and white, which is why I feel like I should reiterate that I'm talking about the generative part. Sometimes you need to repeat yourself 1,000 fucking times since people don't know how to listen. Which brings me to the asinine argument that AI is just another tool. It isn't there to replace artists, it's there to improve your workflow. Jesus fucking Christ, it's not there to replace artists. Kind of like how Disney didn't fire 1,000 artists to openly admit they're using those artists' work to train their AI data sets. They even fired the guy that did the drawing for the Avengers poster for this office in the office he did the artwork for. Fucking A. So it turns out that was a lie. They are replacing artists, and it is stealing their work. Holy fucking mental gymnastics, Batman. Then there's this asshole. Let's hear what this douchebag from Crystal Dynamics has to say about the next Tomb Raider game.
Crystal Dynamics, we see AI as a tool that can help our team get to right answers faster. So let me give you an example of what that looks like. So say in early level development, we have an idea for an object, but we're not sure whether or not we want to take the dev time to build it. We can use a generative AI tool to help us visualize that object in the world, and if it works, we'll then move it to our traditional pipeline. From there, the team will concept it, they'll build it, and we'll make sure that all the finished content in the final game is human crafted. It's really important for us that our team have the tools to make the highest quality experience possible. Our fans deserve nothing less than that.
And so when you kind of drag that generative piece into the engine, does it have scripts attached to it, or is it more so an environmental art tool in that procedure? Like, what's that look like?
Sorry, wait.
Okay. Sorry, I'm.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, no, hold on,
No,
sorry.
it's okay.
No, I'm trying to, sorry, go ahead.
I think what I'd probably say is, I think we've said all we want to say about it now. I
Okay.
think once the game comes out and everyone
Has played
can
it.
see
Yeah.
how amazing it is,
Yeah, I did
we'd probably
really
be more
enjoy it.
comfortable. I think at this early moment, I wouldn't want us to start talking about that right now.
Yeah, we just want to make it as easy as possible for us to make high quality game experiences. That's really the important thing.
Wow. Amazing. So instead of having your artists brainstorm, with their brains, you're going to have them use AI to pop out some regurgitated bullshit, and they're going to pick the assets they like the most and trace over them. But I thought AI users were all about how special their ideas were. So what is it? Do you have your own ideas or not? You're telling me your artists are incapable of coming up with in-game world assets on their own? They're that fucking brain dead? So now they're saying they don't even have ideas and that AI is going to brainstorm for them. The more these people use AI, the less they're using their actual brains. They just keep contradicting themselves. I have a similar example I've been saying quite a bit, and this is mine. Pirate Bay is just another tool. It's not there to replace traditional sales. It helps potential customers try out a product to see if it's up to their standard. If said product meets all criteria, a potential sale can still be made. Piracy simply helps streamline my purchasing decisions. Piracy is the future. Adapt or get left behind. Don't like that? Well, artists don't like their work being stolen either. Which brings me to the next brain-dead thing they say. AI doesn't steal. Maybe research how AI works before you say anything. It learns just like a real person. Okay, let's research it. AI supporters claim that AI does not steal, but instead learns how to create what you request through prompts. It learns just like a human. Okay, alright. So, a human learns through trial and error using their skill set while utilizing their own motor functions. We make conscious decisions to either learn every step or skip a few steps in how our own individual brains interpret what we see and hear. Every human actually learns differently. So, how does AI do it? Well, AI learns by not doing any of that. Despite being called artificial intelligence, it's not actually intelligent. So, how does it consciously decide what to learn and apply to its lived experience? Oh, wait, it's not conscious, nor is it alive. So, how does something that's not living or conscious learn? Well, it copies, but not like a human. When a human copies, there will be differences. No human on the planet is capable of copying or rendering anything 100% exactly from what they're looking at, and that's the beauty of the human experience. That's what makes everyone's art different. This is where I'd reference what I said about rendering for those paying attention. We all have our own take on how we perceive things. So how does AI actually learn? Well, once you get past the mental gymnastics of how AI learns, it turns out that it does something similar to what rappers did in the late 90s and early 2000s called sampling, which was also bullshit, just like auto-tune. It takes already existing art. It doesn't do an interpretation of it. It doesn't do it in its own style. It literally takes bits and pieces of already existing material and makes a sort of collage using data sampled from 100 images, 1,000 images, 100,000 fucking images, or whatever it takes to create the image you want using its glorified search engine. And yeah, it's a glorified fucking search engine. So yeah, I did extensive research on how AI actually works, which is funny because whenever AI prompters say, that's not how AI works, and you ask them to explain how it does, they either don't respond or they say some shit like, use Google, it's not my job to tell you, or they leave a stupid laugh react to avoid having to answer. I just want to say that I truly believe people who leave laugh reacts as a dismissive way to be condescending while avoiding giving an answer actually have no answer and are mentally stunted. There's no other explanation. The only people that laugh inappropriately without verbalizing their thoughts are people with mental disorders. Keep that in mind next time someone laugh reacts you without giving a clear and concise answer. They probably have room temperature IQ as well, and they'll never give you a straight answer. Well, after doing some research, I found the answer. AI makes images, music, and video by using pre-existing material scraped from whatever it can find readily available online without artist consent. And if AI wasn't trained on stolen work, why are so many AI prompters mad about artists using glaze and nightshade to protect their work? If it doesn't steal our work, you shouldn't care if we use glaze or nightshade. So which one is it? But let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it no longer steals work right now. For the first few years, it scraped literally everything it could off the internet without the consent of the artists it stole from. If it didn't, it wouldn't have been such a huge fucking deal. Sites like DeviantArt and models like Grok wouldn't have an option to opt out of having your art used to train their data. Cause trust me, they're not training off your vague shitpost about your ex. They're looking for pictures you post of not just your art, but of yourself, your kids, your dog, and the drunk selfie you took while neglecting your kid. Yeah, some people need to fix their fucking priorities. But people steal art too. Yeah, and trust me, I hold the same disdain for those people as well, not just AI, like I said earlier. At least with AI, there's still people that don't know it steals art. People that knowingly do it, though, are scum. Saying, people do it too, is a poor fucking excuse. You're just afraid of technology. Artists said the same thing when the camera was invented. Oh my fucking god. 1, I'm not afraid of technology, as I said earlier. 2, artists were not afraid of the fucking camera. I am tired of that bullshit argument. Sure, landscape artists may have been shitting bricks, but there was still a demand for fine art because people back then respected the art process, and the invention of the camera didn't scare off fantasy or religious artists that painted dragons and angels and demons because that stuff doesn't exist in real life. I mean, really, that's one of the earliest and dumbest arguments that started with this AI nonsense, and that's usually followed by, but it takes no skill to use a camera. It just copies what it sees. Its data's in pixel. You point and click and it points and clicks. AI is no different. Really? Really? So here's the thing. Professional photographers need to know about things like subject placement, backlighting, rim lighting, exposure, white balancing, rule of thirds, composition, f-stop, what to focus on, etc. AI users only need to know how to describe an image, which is the most basic shit anyone can do, and hit enter. AI users don't know why certain compositions work or don't. They don't know color theory, anatomy, perspective, lighting, or anything else that has to do with art. They just add words like high-res, photorealistic, proper anatomy, cinematic, 4K, award-winning, without knowing why something is award-winning, or what makes something cinematic, or what is proper anatomy. They let the computer decide all that. The truth is, AI users don't care about the skills required to create art. They don't care about the process. To them, it's a waste of time. All they care about is the product. Like this asshole. That's it. And to an extent, I hate to say it, they're right. The end product does matter, but the process is what makes a great product. AI, honestly, looks like shit. And I'm not just saying this because I'm an angry artist that's jealous of AI. No. AI really does look like shit. First off, AI prompters can't even draw or write or read music. Why would I be mad at people with less real human skill than me? Instead of trying to learn a skill, they decided to cheat and have a machine do it for them. Second off, AI constantly gets perspective, lighting, detail, scale, proportions, and other things completely wrong. Why would I be mad at something I can do better? Look at these images. There's artifacting all over the fucking place. It's littered with whatever the fuck all these dots are. It's overly detailed to the point where it just looks messy. There's no flow to the composition. There's multiple vanishing points. There's no depth of field. Proportions are laughably bad, and it's completely ignoring any rule of thirds. All these people did was prompt an image without knowing how art actually works. This shit right here is why AI is not art. The person prompting it has no artistic intention, and the computer making it has no creative input. It's literally the definition of a product with zero soul. It's an anti-product. See, it's not AI itself I'm mad at. AI isn't a living thing. I can't be mad at a fucking computer. It only does what we tell it to. It's the attitudes of the people that use AI. They are some of the most narcissistic, condescending people around. I actually tried having some legit conversations with some, but every single one acted like an escaped mental patient ready to join the circus. I'm still willing to be civil and have a real talk with one, no insults involved. Until that happens, I'm returning the same energy they began dishing out to other artists when all this started. Oh, you're just a Luddite afraid of new technology. Oh my god, that's another dumb fucking excuse they have, which I kind of covered. No, again, I actually love new technology. I just don't support theft. I want AI to help in detecting early signs of cancer. I want it to find the most efficient way for Caltrans to finally finish whatever the fuck takes them 10 years to fix on the freeway. I want it to do my dishes and laundry. I don't want it to create or replace human-made art with soulless garbage. Here's another one. You hate AI, but you make digital art. You're a hypocrite. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, if you say that, you're a fucking idiot. There's no way around it. One, people have been creating digital art way before generative AI was around. Drawing on a tablet is still drawing. It's not prompting. How the fuck, you know what? No. People that say that are either stupid, trolling, or both. Two, while a lot of digital art programs do have AI integration, not all of them do. As far as I know, Procreate does. And what I use, which is Photoshop CS3, is a version of Photoshop that came out in 2007. 2007. And is offline, which means I don't have access to AI plugins even if I wanted. And I use the most basic of brush sets to recreate how I draw on paper or paint on canvas. Obviously, it's different, but I still need to know lighting, perspective, anatomy, form, function, composition, color theory, and why some things work compositionally versus why others don't. Saying digital art is in any way the same as using AI is fucking stupid. Now, are there digital artists that use AI as a tool? Yes, but they're no different than any other artist that cut corners or cheated before AI was around. At the end of the day, it comes down to one simple thing. Can you fucking draw? That's it. No bullshit excuses, no mental gymnastics, no explaining how special your ideas are, no deflecting by saying all artists copy. Can you draw? Or can you play an instrument? Can you read or write music? It's the same shit with literally everyone that uses Suno. They all say the same thing. The lyrics are mine and the song idea was mine. I just had AI fill in the blanks. It's like hiring a band. I wasn't going to write this stuff anyway. Yeah, you had AI do pretty much 99% of the work. Writing lyrics isn't exactly hard to do. It's literally the most basic fucking thing you can do. I write lyrics last for my band. Guitar rhythm comes first, then I decide if I want it faster or slower, so I change my tempo accordingly. Then I write it out and decide if I want harmonic fifths, or how many times a riff is going to repeat, for whether 4 or 6 or 8 measures. That's actual fucking songwriting. Oh, the lyrics are mine. Oh, shut the fuck up. Or the endless sea of AI slop book covers. All these authors also say the same shit. Only the cover is AI. I still wrote the book. Who cares how the cover is made? Cool. So you're okay if I paint my cover but have AI write the book. Why is art always the one that gets shit on, but writing gets a free pass? Writing is the easiest fucking thing to do when it comes to the arts. Now, I'm not trying to diminish any writers or authors out there, but in comparison, it seems like almost every single day 1,000 new books are coming out from self-published authors versus compare that to how many actual artists are out there that know how to draw or paint, or people that know how to play the piano or guitar or violin or something. Sorry, but writing really is the easiest fucking thing to do. So congratulations on doing what literally everyone else can do. Here's your participation trophy. Same with bands that use AI album covers. They defend music and songwriting to the death, but will dismiss art to just being an inconvenience. If you use an AI album cover or book cover, you have no right to complain about AI written books or AI made music. You don't get to be exempt because you think only what you make matters. Fuck you. Now, is all this going to stop people from using AI? Of course not. People are going to do what they want to do. So why am I bitching and moaning about it? because I'm an artist and I have the right to. I mean, if this jackass can come and say, my stance on AI is stupid and we will not stand for this. What's this we shit? Are you part of a hive mind? Are you part of an insect colony, we? My fucking God. Then I can say your lack of artistic integrity is a fucking disgrace, and I, along with other artists, won't stand for it. Don't like my opinion? Too fucking bad. When all that fails, though, and they have no argument left, they do probably the nastiest, most vile shit you can think of. The first is they actually accuse artists of using AI to somehow validate their social credit score by belittling the artist. Or they run other people's art through AI and say shit like, I made it better. At that point, it's no longer about them arguing the point for AI. They're literally playing into the theft aspect of it by proving artists right as a way to bully others with talent by saying a machine has more talent. Well, you said AI steals, so I'm just proving you're right. LOL. The argument by then is lost. For them, it's not about providing their side of an argument. It's about trying to tear someone else down that spent years pouring their soul into something. That kind of behavior is just straight up fucking disgusting. Like I said, AI itself isn't the issue. It's the personalities of the people that use it. They will do anything except learn how to fucking draw or play an instrument or do anything that requires real fucking skill. Quick change of pace though. Oh shit. I'm about to agree with AI users for a minute. Uh-oh, does that make me a hypocrite? Notice how out of everything I said that AI data center water usage and power draining wasn't something I brought up. Now, does it mean that I'm okay with the data center boom? No, of course not. I think all these extra data centers popping up are unnecessary, and contrary to what people like this say, AI data centers aren't what provides us with the internet, social media, online banking, and all the other shit this misinformed simian thinks AI centers provide. AI data centers are solely there to pump out everything people prompt in shit like ChatGPT and Grok. That's it. AI is literally a glorified search engine, and with how it's blown up, it takes a lot of processing power to make all those stupid generations. A simple Google search with AI turned off will result in several articles that tell you these massive data centers are literally only there to run generative AI applications. They don't do all the shit this person listed. But that's not the issue. The issue is the ethics behind it. I hate to say it, but technology will grow whether we like it or not. And you know what? I actually want that technology to grow and get better. I really do. I want advancements in finding early signs of cancer. I want it to shut off vehicles if someone is speeding through a red light so some poor family doesn't get killed by some worthless drunk idiot that shouldn't be behind the wheel. I want it to monitor and warn us about threats both domestic and foreign. I want it to be used in a humane and ethical manner. The reality is, judging by how people use it now and basic human nature, it won't be used ethically. There really has been no other technology like it. This is not the same kind of AI that people who claim AI has always been around keep talking about. Now, will AI get better? Without a doubt. Will it eventually make images, video, and music that even seasoned pros can't tell the difference? Absolutely. But you know what it'll never do? Decide to wake up one day and create art for the sake of creating art. No matter how advanced AI gets, it's still just a machine. It's not alive. It has no soul. It doesn't go through the same trauma, heartbreak, anger, depression, lived experience as a real person. It doesn't learn like us, and it will never be like us. So no, AI itself isn't the issue. It's the people using it as a replacement for their own humanity. If you hold a machine in higher regards than a human being, you don't deserve to be treated like a human being. If you're a real person, like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.